Alright, so here it is, the Whitetail Fox. This is the newest model, which is a little bit more of a hybrid, like Surfskate deck, but which has a lot of characteristics of a regular popsicle skateboard. So if you look at it, it's a little bit narrower than most of the Whitetail Surfskate decks. So it's 8.5 inches in width, but what's well designed about it is it's wider at the tail. So where your foot would usually be sitting, you do have kind of more of that full width tapered down here, so it shaves off a lot of weight. It's super light. It feels really good under the feet. There's nice aggressive concave. And if you look at the rocker of the tail and the nose, that really holds your feet in place well, but also if you're working on skate tricks, like your foot will catch to do ollies and be able to level it out. This is probably one of the boards with the best pop that I've ever tried when using surf skates. So the shape is really well designed. It's a little bit steeper on the tail, so it locks on well when you're doing drop-ins, but it also pops really well. I found I could get super high ollies with this board. So a lot of really good things with the design of the shape. It's 31 inches, so shorter than a lot of the other surf skates that I use, but with Carver C5 trucks, I found it worked perfectly. I could get enough flow, it didn't feel twitchy, and what I love about that is you get so much nose here. So this is one of the boards that I found easiest to get into things like nose slides, to nollie, any kind of trick like skate-based trick that you would need your nose for. This one just feels super comfortable. Other thing I noticed about this board is it's very well balanced. So the way that it's tapered here, it kind of balances out the weight with the longer nose, but then the wider tail. So doing things like tray flips, I found that the board just went where you wanted it. It didn't feel like super unbalanced. It helps having the Carver C5s, which are lighter trucks. Sometimes when you have a really heavy front surf skate truck, that might throw things off to be a little bit nose heavy, but this one felt great. The shape here as well, I found it really easy for doing laybacks, bird slides, be able to get my feet over the edges and really push on it. So that's one nice thing about the narrower size, is that you can really get a lot of torque, a lot of leverage when you're doing slides. But also for some skate tricks, like where you want to be scooping from here for tray flips, that felt really comfortable. Like this is definitely the easiest board to get into flip tricks that I've used with Surfskate trucks. So I used to use the Feral Cat for a lot of my skateboarding based tricks on a surf skate, but I think the Fox is going to replace that in my repertoire, or in my quiver, for doing that kind of stuff, because it just feels lighter, feels more responsive, more pop, ollies better, and just flicks really kind of predictably, I guess. The Feral Cat I found had a bit of a shorter nose, so sometimes it was harder to do nose slides or nollies on it. So I think this is definitely my favorite of the hybrid type surf skate, skateboard type decks. That is going to be one of my favorites that you'll see me riding lots from here on. So other uses for the Fox, I think if you are a smaller rider who's looking for a surf skate, this would be perfect because it's only 31 inches, but you do have a range of wheelbase options. So if you wanted to extend it to a longer wheelbase, you could do that by using a remora, which helps level it out so you can move the trucks further forward. But I think you'd still get that locked in feel that you get from the other Whitetail boards because of the concave, because of the nose and tail. So I think for people who want to experiment with doing more skateboard based tricks, who want to kind of have something a little bit more responsive and agile, this is going to work for any size rider. But if you're looking for kind of a regular surf skate that feels really good, locked in, nice concave, and you're on the smaller side, this will probably do the job for that as well. In terms of downsides, the only one is, I guess if you're looking for more of a standard traditional surf skate with like a really long wheelbase just for flatline carving, it might be a little bit small for that if you're a taller rider. And the narrower deck, the one time it caused an issue for me is we have a new bowl, which is a super steep pool style bowl, and it's actually kind of got oververt because of the pool coping. So dropping in on that, it felt a little bit less stable than a wider board, where you get a little bit more room in case the board kind of twitches on you when you get down onto the ground. So, but once I got used to it, I was able to kind of like dial it in, It was just the first few that felt a little bit off. So if you're not super confident on really big drop-ins, then maybe you'd be more comfortable with a wider board, but it is something that you can get used to with practice. So all in all, I gotta say, Sophie has done it again. This is a fantastic board. That is definitely one you're going to want to add to your quiver, especially if you're looking to transition into trying some skateboard things. If you want to be able to ollie, if you want to try land your first kickflip or something like that, but you still like the flow of surf skates, this is definitely one you want to have in your quiver.